personal questions, I'm going to be pissed. So, I'm just saying. He said you can't, but I'm going to be mad.
What is your favorite color?
Green. Because it's envious.
Got a boyfriend?
So, how do we want to start this?
He scared them, see? He was like, don't do this and don't do that and don't do that. And so then nobody got in line. So.
Oh.
Hello. I just retweeted our picture.
I know! I was about to say, she's awesome.
I was right back there retweeting it.
I know.
Right here.
Follow her on Twitter. She is awesome. First off, I want to say thank you guys once again for coming to Sac Anime. It means so much, and you guys are such an inspiration. Just generally the most wonderful people.
Oh, thank you.
We love
No
you guys.
idea.
I was going to say, if you guys could cosplay as any character that you voice, who would you cosplay as?
If we could what?
Like cosplay, like dress up.
Dress up in your character. Like a costume of a character.
Costume.
I was Azula for Halloween. I scared the crap out of her.
That's awesome.
I was Azula, one of my characters for Halloween, and it was fun. And I made a really cool costume, and it had the little collar, which was really hard, and my hair, but I happened to look kind of exactly like Azula, kind of. So it was kind of easy. I don't know. I put like a bunch of hairspray in my little tendrils and scared the crap out of little kids.
My funniest costume experience was I do work with foster kids on weekends, and they live in this village east of LA called Child Help. And some of the kids, the younger ones, found out what I do, that I was Batman, and it was like, so cool, you're Batman! So they begged me for the Halloween festivities to wear my work clothes. And I tried to explain to them, I'm the voice. And they said, no, come on, you have a cape. Wear the cape. So I went to a costume shop on Melrose, and I bought a Batman costume, a really cool one. And then I thought, well, I can't get there and go into a bathroom and change into it. That would kill it. So I had to arrive as Batman. So I put on the costume at my house, and I get in my Volvo station wagon.
The kids are like, God, the Batmobile sucks.
And I'm driving on the 10 freeway east of LA to this village of Child Help. And it was, really early in the morning on Halloween day, and these truckers are going by, These guys are leaning out and go, hey, Batman! Tell Alfred to wash your car! All the way there, trucks after trucks, they were just all, because I think on their CVs they were telling each other, there's a real nut driving on them. So I got there and I got out of the car and they came running down the hill at me, and it was so cool, and I wore my work clothes.
Aww, I love that story.
It's a funny Batman story.
I scared a kid on Halloween because I was Emily. The little boy walked up in his Clifford costume, but we have this really long driveway, and so his mom was standing at the end of the driveway, and I was like, oh, he's Clifford. So I was like, Clifford, where are you? You want to hear a Speckle story, don't you, Clifford? And the kid just like, he started crying and ran back to his mom, and she was like, what did you say to him? What did you say to him? What are you doing? I was like, I'm Emily, and she was just like, wandered away from me like, that lady's crazy, and I just, never.
The parents do react strangely, when you go up to the little kid, hi Johnny, how are you? The parents are like, get away from my child. No, it's really, I am Batman. Oh, sure you are. Just get away from my child.
I love you guys. One last quick question. Since you guys are both actually amazing singers, would you ever collaborate together in the project?
We just met.
We just
like
met.
15 minutes, or an hour ago.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but
Been
if
in
you want
projects together, but we never actually met.
Oh my God, Logan, you're so cute. I would be open to it, but
Sure.
yeah.
Sure.
We'll have to listen to each other's stuff. We have to ease into our relationship. It's just started.
Yeah. You're working on the Batman Breaking the Mold album.
Oh, thank you so much. I didn't even work with Neil Patrick Harris when we sang that duet. I sang my part separately. And then when I did Adventure Time, he came in and I was like, hey, I said, we sang a song together. And Marie's like, oh my God, it's all over YouTube. And so.
Thank you guys so much. You guys have a great time.
Sure.
Oh,
Thank you.
I was curious as to what your favorite or most memorable, funniest something experience was during voice acting.
Doing voice acting.
I played, there was this really low budget thing, and I was the only woman on it, so I played like, 3 kids and like a bunch of moms, and then I played an African American mom, and I was just like having a great time. Just like, I was like, get over here, you need to do it, and I was just like getting into it. And then the man who played my husband walked in, the African American man that was playing my husband, he was in the booth, and then I just kind of like started calming down a little bit. Colette was like, great, keep doing it like you were doing it, you're not doing it. And I was like, what? I don't know what you mean. And she was like, well, you were just, a little bit more, just having more fun with it. It was like more sassy. And I was like, it was sassy? And finally the guy was so cool. He just was like, oh, go for it. I already heard you. I was like, okay. I just felt like, oh, I feel weird now. I feel like I don't know. Anyway, so that was embarrassing.
I guess for me, are you familiar with Venture Brothers? Well, I didn't know what I was getting into when I went into that. They had sent the script and I hadn't gotten it. And I said, sure, I'll do it. It sounds like fun. And I get there and I got there about 15 minutes early and I'm looking at the script and I realize it's a superhero and they wanted the Batman voice, but it was all this sexual double entendre with the boy Wonder. And I thought, oh my God, Warner Brothers is going to kill me if I do this. I can't do this show. Thank God I'm here a half an hour early. So I said to one of the receptionists, and I said, I left something in my car. I've got to run outside. And this is Manhattan. No one has cars, right? It's just like, your car? I said, yeah, I'm parked down in the street. So I go downstairs, I'm down the street, and I'm walking towards the corner, and I think, oh, Kevin, you're an actor. Actors can do anything. You can do this role, just do the role. So I walk back towards the building, and then I think, Warner Brothers is going to kill me if I do this role. I can't do this role. So I go back toward the corner again. Then I get to the corner, and I think, oh, where are your balls? Come on. Do it. Just have some fun with it. Go back. So I go back, so I was back and forth, back and forth. I thought, screw it. I'm just going to do it and have fun. So I get up there, and as the elevator doors open, 2 of the writers are standing there. The one of them looks at the other and goes, you owe me $20, you came back.
Really good story.
They knew exactly what I was going to do. I said, I didn't know what I agreed to.
I'll do anything for scale plus 10. When I first started voiceovers, I didn't have my SAG card yet, and I was just taking anything. And there was the Playboy channel needed promos for their movie, Itty Bitty Bang Bang, Best on Playboy. And it was a midget. It was midgets. I mean, midgets. I shouldn't say midgets. I said little people. Little people. Anyway, but so I was driving home from the job on my phone going, it's a small world after all, in a house full of little people with big appetites for these little ladies are out to prove that good things do come in small packages. Itty bitty bang bang. Yeah, and so I was like, yeah, I've hit the bottom of the barrel, guys. I'll do anything for scale.
Who's a hoe?
Thundercats, ho!
Thank you.
No problem.
Sure.
He's like, that was way more than I needed, but...
That was way more than I wanted, thank you.
Hi, nice to meet you both.
I love your cooking.
Thank you. If you could collaborate with any hero, who would it be and why?
Collaborate with any hero.
I would get Azula into some good therapy, and I know she's not a hero, but she needs a hug.
Collaborate with any hero. I guess I think MacGyver's a very cool hero. Remember MacGyver? Because Batman is kind of an extension of MacGyver. You know, he doesn't have any superpowers. He has to create weapons and ideas, you know, he's very human. And I think that's really kind of cool. So, I like MacGyver.
And just another thing. For yours, Batman, or Catwoman personalities, would you rather be the person they are or their hero personalities?
Would I rather be like?
Like their personalities as hero and person. Which one do you?
Well, my take on playing my role was always that, and it was a really, it was very helpful for me when I started working on the character. Acting is all about choices. It's all about making choices. About the character, about what you're playing in that scene, about where your character comes from. You create these backstories. It's all through choices. And depending on the choices you make, the character goes in one direction or another. And I made a choice really early on that Bruce Wayne was the performance, and that Batman was who he was in his heart. So that he wasn't putting on a cape and a cowl when he went into the cave. He was taking off the cape and the cowl and putting on a business suit, and that was the role, to face the world. We all put on suits to face the world. We all put on performances when we leave our houses. So that was a good take from me for playing the role, was that Bruce Wayne was the performance. So that made my Batman performance much more, I think, intimate, and the audience related to that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Kevin's a better actor than me. I'm like, do you want it high or low or medium? Is it do you want it funny or not funny?
Yeah, but you're the only one who can do little kid voices, both genders.
You better not be mean to me just because I'm a little tiny kid up here and I don't have anybody with me to protect me.
Oh, little girl. Come sit on my lap.
Mommy wants to come over there. Little girl, go play.
Alright, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hi. I was wondering if there are any particular roles that, like, they were very different from what you expected when you went into the role, like, turned out very different.
I didn't know I was playing Catwoman until I walked in there, so that was
Really?
very different. Yeah, the creators wanted somebody else, and I don't think it worked out. So Colette Sunderman, the director, just called me,
You stole that role.
took it out of the mouth of a hungry
That
woman.
poor actress. Her children are starving.
Now they're all at the Child Help Village, and you're dressing up for them. Yeah, so that was very different. I walked in, and I was like, oh, wow, Catwoman. And then it was just one afternoon of my life, and then a few months later, my husband was like, oh my God, Arkham City's trending on Twitter, and I think you're involved in it. Were you Catwoman? And I was like, oh yeah. It was one
A fun thing is, I don't know if you realize that there are certain union rules in the business, and they're allowed to use actors for up to 4 roles, is it?
3, and then you get an extra 10%.
3 of them. So they can use you for 3 characters in a show without paying you anymore. So when they cast you for 1 role, they're often thinking in the back of their mind, okay, now we have, this truck driver or this pilot or this waitress, and they're small roles, and they don't want to pay a whole nother actor's salary to do those roles. So when you get there, they go, okay, now you're doing Batman, and you're also doing pilot 1 and waiter 2.
I'm also Vicky Vale on it, yeah. So, and I'm also this tortured scientist.
But isn't that interesting? I mean, often we don't know until you get in there, because
Yeah.
you're going to be doing these other characters, and they kind of divvy up the small ones. So you kind of have to come up with voices on the spot that are distinct, because they don't want it to sound like Batman, It's got to sound like somebody else.
Yeah.
So you're kind of thinking really fast on your feet,
Sometimes they audition you right there. They'll just be like, Tara, Gray,
Yeah.
you guys both each
Yeah,
get this
thanks.
baby crying.
Okay,
It's
now
like,
will you try the waiter? Okay, now
she's
you try
better,
the waiter.
okay,
and
just
you try
she's
the waiter.
better. Yeah, so it's too much pressure for me. I can't do it. I'm always like, just give it to them, just give it to them.
All that rejection.
Yeah, I can't handle it.
Hello there.
Hello, great costume.
Love
I
it.
was wondering, what was your favorite Batman villain besides me?
I like Two-Face.
Yeah, Two-Face is cool.
Yeah, sadistic.
Batman, for me, there's that special relationship with the Joker that it's just, and also because of working with Mark Hamill. He's an incredibly talented guy. He kind of, when this thing takes over him when he's performing it, and his face is so, his mask is like rubber, and he's like devouring the microphone when he gets out there, and a laugh comes out of him, and he really goes off. And he's a very generous actor. He gives a lot, and the more you give him, the more he gives back. So we get in there together, and we're like two kids. We have so much fun together. So there's a special relationship with Mark. So that makes me really enjoy working on the Joker stuff.
I did this thing with Mark Hamill, which was like nobody saw. It was called Danger Rangers. Does anybody? It was on Nick. Okay, it was like maybe my Nick Journey, but it was just like a safety show. And I'm sorry, it was the only thing I've ever been nominated for an Annie for, and I'm like, what? Oh my God, I was embarrassed as it was rolling. I was like, oh God, don't play my clip. Oh God, everybody's gonna cringe. Anyway, but he played like Burble, this turtle or whatever, and they made these little figures of it, like little, and somebody came up to Mark, just not thinking, and going like, oh my God, it's so cool. Did you ever think you'd have an action figure made out of your character? And it was hilarious. I guess not that hilarious though, huh?
And then one more for Greg. As a Zula, you got to play such a complex and interesting character. What do you think was your favorite episode doing her?
I love the beach. Because, it was just so fun to see somebody so completely evil try to flirt with someone, you know? Just like, that's a sharp outfit, Chan. Sharp enough to puncture the hull of an Empire-class Fire Nation battleship, leaving thousands to drown at sea. Because it's so sharp. Yeah, it was just fun to see her just like so uncomfortable and like threatening him to date her. Will.
Thank you.
No problem. That show is such a great show, and I'm doing The Legend of Korra too. So yeah, 3 characters. None of them are firebenders.
Hi. You guys are probably not allowed to talk about this, but will there ever be another Arkham game?
If we talked about it, we'd have to kill you.
What sense?
No, not that I know of.
Me neither. What he said.
Just Fleet involved?
I'm sorry?
Is just Fleet maybe involved?
I don't know.
Don't know.
Well, we can't say. Yeah. Because if I wasn't involved in the Justice League thing, I would just say I wasn't involved.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi there.
Hi.
I was wondering which your most interesting con experience for both of you guys?
Con experience.
Like, you know, like convention experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. I fell asleep in the closet. I haven't done a ton of these things. I've only done like 4. This is my 4th one. But I felt I was so tired when I went to, I think it was AFO, or no, it was Camelot Gardens. And I thought, like, I'm gonna take a nap in this closet because they had like a green, they just had one hotel room for our green room. And so like I made my little nest and I got in there and I was like so dark and quiet, and I woke up to like 50 text messages like, where are you? Oh my God, we're on stage, we're in the live reading. And I was like, oh God, and my hair was just like a mess. And I wandered up on stage, and of course that made it to YouTube, that picture of me. And I'm like talking about Taizula, and I'm just like, I was just newly awake. But Taizula is totally true.
I think what's interesting is to watch how they've evolved. The first con I went to was in like the early 90s, and it was San Diego was the only place that did them. That was where they started. And it was really to promote shows. And we had started, Batman the Animated Series had started recording in 91, and then was on Fox primetime in 92 it started. And maybe like 94, Warner Brothers asked me if I would go to this thing called the Comic-Con in San Diego to promote the show. And it was really small. It was, by today's standards, it was small. And it was more like a trade show. There were a lot of tables set up, but it was much more of a trade show, and people from the studios were there. There were deals being made. It was more of an industry kind of thing. And then it grew and grew and grew. And then I went to the first one of the first ones in New York. That was interesting. There was such a difference between the East and West Coast in terms of cons. New York's was in a place called Gotham Hall, which is like this old New York Chelsea Convention Center with beautiful ornate balustrades and stuff, an old building. And everyone there was dressed in black. And everyone was from Brooklyn or the Lower East Side. and they were all artists. And, it was very New York, it was very downtown. And I thought, wow, this is so different than San Diego. And then, but it's all evolved kind of over time, so that now that they become these huge commercial events. So that was interesting to watch them evolve.
I couldn't get into a panel once because I didn't have my badge yet. I drove straight from LA and it was like tons of traffic and I was supposed to be at the panel and I'm like standing outside the door going, no, and they wouldn't let me in it. So like a fan came up and he was like, oh my God. And I was like, I know, I'm trying to get in there. Could you tell them that I'm supposed to be there? Like, she's totally supposed to be in there. She's the voice of, and then pretty soon like 5 or 10 like people started coming around and going, just let her in there. She's the voice of the thing. And finally the person's like, oh God, okay, just go ahead. And I ran. It was nice. People came to my rescue.
Thank you.
Sure.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
A question for Miss Delisle.
Yes?
What is it like working in like video games, and besides the different franchises you're associated with, both like other games? Because I know you've did voices for the Speed Racer video game that came out a few years ago.
So what is it like doing the video games as opposed to the cartoons?
Yeah.
Oh, video games are a lot more copy. That's like thick copy. Sometimes I'll go in and do a cartoon and just do like 2 lines and go. And then, but the video games are, a lot of screaming, a lot of yelling, my grandma came to visit and she happened to, I did a bunch of regular cartoons and I just did like one little thing in each one. And then at night I took my whole family to dinner and I tried to pay and my mom's like, oh no, you're the baby, you don't pay. And I was like, no, I'm gonna pay. And my grandma goes, you let her pay for it. She didn't do anything all day. She went in there, ha ha ha, and then they gave her money. And then she goes to the next place, and then they give her money. You let her pay for the check. Anyway, so, and my little grandma, so, yeah.
It's really different doing games from doing the animated series or the
It's more realistic too, games.
Well,
I mean, a lot of times.
The wonderful thing about doing them, especially for Andrea Romano or for Warner Brothers, is that they bring everyone in together, and it's done like a radio play. When you do the when you do the series or the films, it's a lot of give and take. You're in a big room together, a recording studio, and there'll be 7 or 8 actors in there together, and you really feel like you're doing a radio play. And in the games, you're alone in a booth for 4 hours at a time. 2 sessions a day, so it's 8-hour days for a week, or maybe 2 weeks. By the end of the week, you don't even know how to speak English anymore. I mean, it's just line after 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 line, alone in a vacuum.
I'm always pinching the script, like, which side is thicker?